Today we're going to have Dr. Toyin Olutoye, Vice Chair of the Academic Affairs and Division Chief of General Anesthesia from Texas Children's Hospital. It's a great pleasure to have you here today. For those of us who may not know you so well, would you mind giving us a brief summary about yourself?
Sure, Allison. Thank you for speaking with me today. My name, as you mentioned, is Toyin Olutoye. I'm a pediatric anesthesiologist, and I work at Texas Children's Hospital. I've worked there for the past 20 years. I'm also a wife. I'm a mother of 2 adult children, and I recently became a grandmother. I have a 2-month-old grandson, and I love what I do, working as a pediatric anesthesiologist. And I have a passion for bringing up younger women, junior women who would want to walk in the same path that I have gone. And I'm also a stickler for equality and people being treated right.
Well, thank you. It's great having you here, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yes, it is.
As a successful leader in anesthesia, have you found it difficult to balance your academic and clinical career with your personal life?
Good question. It's always a juggling act. And I would say, if I didn't have a supportive husband, I probably wouldn't be doing all the things that I do. But we both, juggled it together. He's busy as well. And when our children were younger, as I mentioned earlier, I worked part-time. And I did that for a number of years. And then I switched schedules to full-time. So I think each person has to decide where they are in their career and what they can do conveniently without going insane, What can you handle now without going crazy? And just try to, pay attention to your children, to your family, and also do what you can with your work. I mean, for everything, there's a time and a season, really. So there's a time to raise your children. You're always raising your children anyhow, but there's a time to really pay attention to them when they're younger. And there are times when you can both be working. They can be doing their homework and you can be doing your work on the table at the same time, like sneak an hour in. And as they grow older, you would have more time. So it really depends on each person's where they are in life. I had my children early, and I don't know that I would have done it any differently, but I think that I think it just worked out. Mm-hmm. It was juggling, but one thing I would say about the juggling is whenever you are with your children, make that time count, no matter what it is you're doing. I was talking to my son, and I was talking about Teletubbies. I think I saw a picture of Teletubbies. I was like, oh, Teletubbies. Who remembers Teletubbies? He's like, oh, I remember Teletubbies. He said, you know what I remember about Teletubbies? I'm like, no. I was afraid of what he was going to say. He said, oh, I remember watching Teletubbies and you were baking cookies in the kitchen. And I thought, oh, I did that? So obviously he remembered that. So whenever you can, spend time with them. Whenever you can, do the things that you would like to do as a mom to make yourself, feel like you're being a mom. Make the vacations count. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to be some fancy place, just somewhere where they know you're there. It could be some ocean, some beach, and you're building sandcastles with them. They'll remember those fun times. So just do what you can, enjoy the moment, and figure out how the juggling works for you, because it's different for each person, depending on where they are in life and where their families are in life, if they have a family. So yeah, there's no strict recipe for that, unfortunately. You just have to see what works for you. But you definitely need to have a loving and supportive spouse in the process, for sure.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. I have 4-year-old twins. They're so much fun,
Uh-huh.
but so much work at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I am very fortunate. My husband helps me a lot, so he can jump in when I need help, when we need help. And
Yeah.
we also have used nannies and relied on school and all kinds of things.
Oh yeah, I did all of that. I had au pairs, and then I mean, it was always something. But and I
Mhm.
look back on those years, and they just went by so fast because it was just busy. I mean, you're always
Mhm.
just trying to balance them. Some days you feel like I got this, and some days you're like, oh, pulling your hair out. But it all works out. It all works out in the end.
Yes, that is all very true. I can
Yes,
relate.
yes. But the one thing I want to say though is I think even though it's a juggling act, I think one mistake that could be made, and I say could, is wanting to wait until everything settles down before you decide to pursue this or that. Depending on your setting, if you're in an academic place, if you wait, by the time you now want to start picking up the pieces and starting, you find that so many things have passed you by. So whatever it is a suggestion I'll make, whatever it is people think they want to do, just start chipping away at it a little bit at a time. Even if you can't do it every day, just chip at it a little bit at a time. When the children are small, if it's only 1 hour a week, you can even put into it, do it. Because they will grow up. And when they grow up, you can just start off where you left off and you're not starting from scratch. So that's something to keep in mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually true. And especially for women who want to go on the academic track, because it takes so long, or the expectations, especially based on your institution, to, advance from assistant or even instructor to full professor, wherever it is that you want to end up at. It can take a long time. And
Yeah.
if you do nothing for a few years, it really, I think, makes it harder, and it becomes more of an obstacle. I think that's a
Yes.
challenge for women in
Yes.
general, is that, these constructs of promotion are just built in a way that do not take us into consideration.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. Yeah. But true.
Yeah. So I think that's something that I've learned from talking to so many women who have advanced and who been successful, like yourself and other women, and they've all said similar things, like it takes a long time. But it's not it's like the tortoise and the hare.
Yeah. Exactly.
And we're the tortoise.
Yes.
So
Yeah. But slow and steady wins the race. So
that's
again,
right.
you got it. Yes, you got it.
Exactly. In line with this, burnout is pretty prevalent in medicine for a lot of people, because they haven't been able to find that work-life balance. And have you experienced that? And what strategies did you use to help you overcome that?
I was working on weekends. I'd be, trying to, either complete a book chapter or just write something or do something. Just it was something I needed to do on a weekend. And I found that when Monday came around, I was like already wiped out. So I told myself I would stop doing work on the weekends. That's been very recent though. So I was still working. I would say maybe the last 4 years. And I've been able to do that even though I struggle. It's almost like, you feel like, oh my gosh, I have to do this, I have to do this. And I just, you know what, I'll address it on Monday.
Mhm.
So I just started doing that, and I found that it works. If I do have to cheat, I'll do it on Saturday, not on Sunday. But even then, I haven't had to cheat. I truly just stay away from my laptop. Yeah, but it's very easy to suffer from burnout if you don't make it a point to take care of yourself, or make sure you take your vacations and and truly relax on your vacation.
In closing, if you had one piece of advice for young attendings starting out in the field of anesthesia, what would it be?
Just one piece?
Or many?
Excel in whatever it is that you're interested in. Work hard in it, work hard at it. And even if you're not quite sure how you're going to get somewhere, you dress up for where you're going and not where you are.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that literally and figuratively. If you have an idea of you'd like to be X, so you act as if you are X, even though you don't know how in the world you're going to get there or what you're even thinking to have that thought, but just work towards it. If you can find ways to, if you come across things that you think would improve your skill set, engage in those things, because you never know when it'll come handy.
Mm-hmm.
I had the opportunity to attend two things. I had the opportunity to sign up for the AAMC workshop. The AAMC has some workshops.
Mm-hmm.
They have one for minorities. As a matter of fact, they have one for early career females and mid-career females. And I had the opportunity to attend those, and I thought those were invaluable in terms of how I saw the world after I attended those. And I also have some webinars that I pay for and I listen to. And I think between the webinars and the AAMC, I think it just broadened my perspective on academic anesthesia. And it made all the, the little, the things you mentioned, the culture, gender, all those biases, all those issues that one faced, it almost made them fizzle out in my eyes, because attending those workshops just opened my eyes to, the world that was out there. And it made me realize that, nothing I may be facing locally can really affect where I'm headed. It's only if you let it. It's only if you let it. So in terms of advice, excel at whatever it is you have an interest in, and stay focused, and refuse to be discouraged by the little irritants that come up. Again, resilience, that's the antidote to adversity. So refuse to be discouraged.
Thanks again. I appreciate your time and all your advice. It's wonderful.
Thank you. You're so sweet.